Fellas, we are back and we are covering a story that I have wanted to cover on the channel for quite some time now. And welcome to Transformers Deviations, basically their version of Marvel's What If. And this is from IDW. I know this is a random one to cover, but hey man, leave a like and sub if you're new. Okay, so basically this is a version of what if Optimus Prime never died in the 1986 Transformers movie, which we all know by now is the many sins of John Hasbro. But this issue also isn't any better, and you'll see why. Okay, so this starts with giving you a refresher of what happened, which was Optimus Prime and Megatron throwing down in Autobot City, and then Hot Rod jumping in, and you guys know the rest. Come on, we know the rest. But in this reality, we see something change. But we see Optimus Prime charge in like he did in the movie, even with all the same lines, one shall stand, one shall fall, why throw away your life so recklessly? And we see these two duke it out, like everything is supposed to happen in the movie. And we have Hot Rod wanting to jump in and help Optimus Prime, and Cup telling him no. And when Prime gets the upper hand in the fight, before Hot Rod jumps in, Cup tackles Hot Rod, telling him to stay down, and tells Hot Rod Megatron would kill him in an astrosecond. And we see the narrator speaking, saying without Hot Rod's interference, Megatron would never take him hostage, and the Decepticon Fiend wouldn't be able to kill Optimus Prime. And with Optimus Prime telling Megatron to yield, which of course Megatron refuses, he picks up the pistol, misses the kill on Optimus Prime, which Optimus Prime gets the ion blaster and says forgive me, and he takes the kill shot on Megatron, saying forgive me until all are one. So yeah, Optimus Prime kills Megatron. So we are already off to a different start, like in the 1986 movie. We then see that the Decepticons start to retreat in the next page, just like in the movie, but this time not taking Megatron back. Except for some reason Starscream takes his fusion cannon, and no, he's not going on the offensive. He just takes it as proof to the Decepticons that Optimus Prime killed Megatron. And he shows the Decepticons the fusion cannon and tells Astro Train to take off, and they all retreat, just like in the movie. And of course, we see Starscream nominating himself as the new leader of the Decepticons, and it seems like they don't really argue with that, and we don't have the whole them fighting in the shuttle, so they just nominate Starscream as the new leader. And we see the Decepticons return back to Cybertron, which in the next couple of panels, we see all the dying Decepticons are let out of Astro Train, just like in the movie, and they're thrown out of the ship. But with no Megatron, there is no reason for Unicron to give them new lives, so he just eats them. No, straight, like, he just eats them because he's Unicron. But we shift back to Autobot City, and here's what I mean by this issue isn't any better, as they do my boy Ultra Magnus dirty in this comic, and I hate it so much. So, we see Optimus rallying everyone after the battle, saying they have earned a brief respite from the turmoil, and still the victory means little in the scope of all the loss that's happened, and the price is too high now to end the Cybertronian war, which Hot Rod brings up that stopping Megatron should leave the Decepticons demoralized, which is where douchebag Magnus comes in, interrupting Hot Rod, saying an internal power struggle will erupt within the ranks, and asks Hot Rod if he has learned nothing about the enemy, and asks, or do you spend your free time interfering with battles above your pay grade? Which Hot Rod rifles back, saying he was trying to help Optimus win the war, and asks Magnus where was he in the heat of the battle, and that he didn't see him on the front lines. But before this goes any forward, Optimus breaks this fight up, telling him to look at his fallen brothers, and thanks to them, they might have a chance to reclaim Cybertron. Which Hot Rod says they found an eternal resting place within the Matrix and made their heroism echo through space and time. And I see nothing wrong with him saying this, and for some reason Cup just smacks Hot Rod, telling him not to speak in such blasphemous tones about the Matrix. I don't know why. I don't know why Cup smacks him for, like, what's wrong with that? I don't get it. But what we are seeing is the Autobots are essentially gearing up the shuttles and to go and rendezvous at the Cybertron's moon bases and try and take back Cybertron from the Decepticons, which is a little bit different, as in the 1986 movie, they get into the shuttles to actually go and see what's happening with Unicron, but, you know, that hasn't happened yet because there is no Megatron in this story. But as all of them are getting ready to gear up and go, Optimus tells Hot Rod to go with Magnus's crew, and the reason why is that Cup and Optimus will have their hands full with Dinobots, and Optimus needs time to devise a battle plan with no distraction. Plus, he just makes Daniel go with Hot Rod on the shuttle. So, yeah, that okay. But mainly just because he wants Hot Rod to, you know, go in with Magnus because those two are butting heads for some reason in this story. But in the next page, we do see Starscream become the new leader of the Decepticons, and he has the crown and all that, but they are interrupted by Unicron. And Soundwave is hilarious here as he tells Starscream to go alone and check it out himself because he's the new leader and he has to check out all the big bad threats by himself because he's the strongest. Which I just find hilarious. And Starscream was like, okay. He even calls him uncharismatic bore, which is just great. We see Starscream talk to Unicron, and Unicron demands Starscream to serve him or perish. And Starscream's like, okay, I'll obey the command, but on one condition. And, you know, just like in the movie, Unicron's like, your bargaining posture is highly dubious. And Starscream bargains for a new body, basically to be reformatted so he can stop Optimus Prime and the Autobots, which Unicron agrees to this. And again, it's similar to the movie, but also kind of not at this point now, as Starscream just gets reformatted. We then shift back to Hot Rod and Daniel as they are on Ultra Magnus' shuttle, and they both are talking to each other, and Hot Rod brings up that he wanted to protect Optimus, but it felt like every decision he makes is the wrong one, which Daniel tells him he's a good guy and his best friend and that he didn't do anything wrong. But we see Hot Rod mention that he keeps having daydreams of Optimus dying, and whenever he gets close to him, the images of those daydreams get stronger. And Ultra Magnus overhears this and says maybe the Matrix is trying to point out traitors in the midst, and sitting around fantasizing about the death of our leader is mutinous. Which, I mean, like, come on, Ultra Magnus, like, what? What? It's also crazy Hot Rod to just, like, admit that he just is having daydreams, but yeah. We then see that the shuttle's under attack from Starscream, or shall I say, Megascream. No, yes, that's his name, Megascream, the new reformatted Starscream. And the idea for Megascream is to destroy Magnus' shuttle first, so that way Optimus Prime can watch his friends die. And we see Hot Rod pitch an idea to do a hard reverse on the engines to throw the Decepticons off, and Magnus calls that a stupid move, and the engines will burn out if they do that, which Perceptor chimes in, says they would have a 58% chance of the ship will overheat and combust, and Hot Rod, being Hot Rod, tells Perceptor to shut up, and that's a 42% chance it won't overheat, which we then see Magnus get caught in the explosion, and Hot Rod gets ready to do a hard reverse, and yes, you guessed it, it didn't work, and the shuttle overheats and starts to combust. And when Megascream gets ready to launch his assault on Optimus, Soundwave tells him that they need to go back to Cybertron because Unicron starts to eat Cybertron's moons, so they end up retreating, and Optimus and Cup are confused as to why the Decepticons retreated, but Cup finds out it's because Moonbase 1 is just gone missing, and Optimus puts together a plan to go rescue Magnus' shuttle, and Cup tells him that they landed on Junkion not too far out, but before they do that, they have to land on a familiar looking planet for repairs, since their ship was also shot during the attack. We just didn't see it. But we see them land on Quintessa, which, of course, we have the iconic Ba Weep Grana Weep Mini Bong scene, but it's just Cup doing this, and they are all attacked by the Sharkticons, which is just great. But this go around, the Dinobots are here, and they're not all split up, so Optimus tells the Sharkticons that he has no time for this, and he unleashes the Dinobots. And this is really cool, because just like in the movie, the Dinobots make quick work of the Sharkticons, and we just see them barge into the Quintesson's court and basically just say, all right, you know, court's over, you know, the show's over. And it's lightly mentioned here because, again, the whole plot point was more explored in the season 3 G1 cartoon, that the Quintessons are the Transformers creators. So they're just kind of like, oh, it's the Autobots and you'll pay for this. And Cup's like, oh, hey man, I think they know us. And Prime and Cup are like, whatever. And they just shrug it off. But what's cool here is we see Kranix, who was in the movie as well, but was thrown to the Sharkticons in the movie before he explained everything about Unicron. But this go around, he actually gives Optimus and Cup the full explanation of who Unicron is, and that he's a force of pure malice, and that, you know, he eats, you know, every planet, every life force, and just wants total elimination of life in this universe. And I do like that Optimus tells Kranix and even offers him a choice to join them or to, you know, go and leave and be off on his own, and offers to assist Kranix in preserving his culture, which that's pretty cool. He tells him to join, and that will help him preserve his culture, and that he shouldn't run from danger, and courage is not the absence of fear, but triumph over it. Which I gotta say, that's a pretty decent Optimus Prime quote, I will not lie. But here's where we get into the major problems with this book. Okay, so we shift back to Magnus' shuttle, and we see them crashing into the planet of Junk, and the shuttle is overheating and literally just combusting, and just fire and explosions are everywhere. Like, this shuttle is going to explode any second. and Hot Rod takes Daniel and goes into escape pod as they are crashing on Junkion, and yeah, the whole shuttle explodes. It kills off the entire season 3 roster except Hot Rod, Daniel, and I guess Cup because he's with Optimus. So yeah, Ultra Magnus, Springer, RC, Perceptor, they're all gone. The ship just crashes. I guess there was only one escape pod, and I guess only 2 people could fit in it. This is crazy. Even RC's gone. Like, can you guys tell he didn't like the season 3 cartoon and the movie? I don't know, man. It's just crazy. I'm still shocked that they just all died here. And poor Daniel too with the trauma here. But we shift to Megascream and Unicron, and when Megascream confronts Unicron, telling him that Cybertron and its moons belong to him, Unicron tells him he's grown tired of his whining, and for a time, he considered sparing his wretched little planet of Cybertron, but now they will witness its dismemberment. And we see Unicron transform and smacks Cybertron like it's nothing. But we see a little bit more of that. But we, cut back to Hot Rod talking to Daniel, saying he's sorry for screwing everything up and killing off the rest of the season 3 crew, which Daniel tells Hot Rod that their quote-unquote sacrifice, if that's what you want to call it here, means something, and that Ultra Magnus wanted him and Hot Rod to survive, which, okay, sure, all right. But we do see Optimus rescue Hot Rod and Daniel, and oh hey, look, Kranix did join them. I actually didn't notice that Kranix did end up joining. But we see Optimus and everyone else get ready to pursue into Unicron, and Hot Rod keeps sulking here, telling Optimus that he caused the deaths of his comrades, which Prime just shrugs it off and says, the ways of the Matrix, and that we can't fall victim to sorrow, no matter how natural it comes to us. And here's where we get even more questionable here with this book, because it just... Yeah, okay, so... Optimus regroups with all the other Autobots on Moonbase 2, and Optimus tells the Autobots that the time has come to engage the greatest threat ever known, and that he will go alone, and believes the Matrix can stop Unicron, which all the Autobots just start chanting out, saying, "All hail Optimus Prime." Which is just weird, because why are they chanting something that the Decepticons would chant at Megatron? I mean, they do say "Tell all are one," but they're just, "Oh, hail Optimus Prime." I don't know. It's so weird. It's so weird. It's so out of character. But whatever. We see Optimus take an escape pod by himself, but, someone else tags along, and we all know who tagged along. But Optimus confronts Megascream, and Starscream, being Starscream, taunts Optimus, saying to give him the Matrix and don't force him to take it from his burning corpse, which Optimus says he will die trying, just like Megatron. And I'll give credit here to this book and writing, as I do kind of like that they made Starscream a combiner here, combining with, Dirge, Astro Train, Soundwave. I think that's a pretty cool concept. Makes no sense, but I mean, hey, it's Unicron, so I do like that he's the size of a combiner now. And he tells Optimus that he's nothing like Megatron and that he thinks bigger, which then, of course, he becomes a combiner, combining with the other Decepticons, and Optimus gets completely destroyed here by Megascream. But before Megascream can put the final blow to Optimus, Hot Rod jumps in and stops Megascream and calls Megascream Aurelus, and that Megatron had more style than him, which I think is hilarious. But Hot Rod goes up to Optimus and tells him that he's saving him this time, and he will get it right this go around, as he takes the Matrix from Optimus and says he can't explain it, but he feels like the Matrix is calling out to him, like he's supposed to have it. Also, he just happens to have a teleportation disc from Wheeljack's lab, which... How did he even... whatever, man, whatever. He teleports Optimus away, and we see Hot Rod and Megascream duke it out, but it's completely one-sided until Hot Rod opens the Matrix and becomes Rodimus Prime, and lights the darkest hour and destroys himself, Megascream, and Unicron all in the process. Kind of like Vegeta's final explosion against Majin Buu, but, it works this time. And we see Unicron explode, and Optimus Prime basically puts out the same speech Rodimus Prime did in the 1986 movie, talking about the new age of peace and prosperity, and to not forget the ones who fell in battle, and they all chant "Tell all are one." And we see Optimus look up to the sky, and he sees Alpha Trion and Rodimus Prime, and Optimus Prime says he will never question the ways of the Matrix again. And that's how this issue ends, fellas. And yeah, you can tell the writer did not like the season 3 of the G1 cartoon and really hated the 1986 movie. But what did you guys think of this issue? I'd love to know your guys' thoughts down below. Leave a like and sub if you're new. And hopefully next time we cover something else, because oh man, this was definitely this was definitely a story of all time. All right, later.